What if you could plant once and harvest for many years to come with hardly any effort? Well, you can if you put perennials in your vegetable garden. Today, I'm going to show you my 5 favorite perennials that I planted over 3 years ago. I harvest from these plants every single week, and I'll get to eat from these plants for many years to come. So if you're looking for a plant that takes hardly any effort, but gives you loads of production for many, many years, then you've got to add these 5 plants to your garden too. First up is oregano. We just had our first snow last night, and you can see the arugula, the flowers, they're kind of spent, but this oregano, it isn't phased one bit. I planted this oregano when they were tiny little plants 3 years ago, and this oregano just keeps giving. I can harvest from these plants each and every week, and they continue to grow again and again. As soon as the soil starts to warm up just a bit, this oregano will pop back up and will give me loads and loads of leaves that I can harvest from all spring, summer, fall, and even a little bit into the winter. I love adding oregano to all kinds of dishes in the kitchen, and I have not bought oregano from the grocery store for years, and I don't plan on buying it anytime soon. Next up is rosemary. Rosemary was my first herb that I fell in love with when I was in grad school. I was so depressed, and every single day I would walk by this huge rosemary bush and I would smell it, and I was like, I suddenly don't feel depressed anymore. So I would literally break off pieces of this rosemary and carry it around with me as I was going through my very depressing grad school days. So I swore to myself I would always have rosemary in my life, and it is one of my favorite plants to have in the garden. If you live in a really cold place, this might not be perennial for you, so you might need to dig it up, bring it indoors, and then bring it back out into the garden when it warms up in spring. But if you're in a place that snows, gets frost, but doesn't have really heavy, deep winters, then this rosemary will die back every winter and then come back in the spring. And if you live in a warm place, a place that hardly gets any frost, you can grow this stuff like a bush, like a tree, like I had in grad school. So if you're any place where you have mild winters, you absolutely cannot ever buy rosemary again from the grocery store, because this thing will grow all year long for you. Sage is one of my favorite perennials. You know that saying about perennials, first year they sleep, next year they creep, and the third year they leap? This was the leap year for my sage. I had trees of sage growing out of my raised beds, and man, I made the most of it. I've been harvesting sage every single week, all spring, summer, and fall, and I have now become addicted in a very good way to sage tea. Every single night, I make myself a cup of sage tea, and I have to say, I think I'm sleeping a lot better because of it. I have a whole video about making tea from the garden and also about making sage bundles, so if you want to watch that or some other projects about using herbs from the garden, you can check those out right after this video, and we'll put the link in the description too. So if you'll notice on sage leaves, these are what they call savoy. Savoy is just another word for bumpy, and sage, even more so than oregano and rosemary, has these cool little bumps on its leaves, and believe it or not, that's kind of its way of protecting itself from frost and snow. We had our first snow here in Nashville. You can see how this arugula is kind of like, ouch, because the leaves aren't quite as bumpy, but these sage leaves are literally unharmed. So you'll find that sage lasts deep into winter, and it'll also bounce back really fast in early spring, even if you get a frost or a snow once it starts growing. Next up is thyme. The only reason why this plant looks so small is because I've been harvesting from it all season long. Thyme can be planted as a little bitty plant in the corners of your bed, and it will give and give and give some more. There is nothing like fresh thyme for all kinds of recipes in the kitchen. This is such an easy herb to grow, and it will come back year after year, even in the coldest climates. Lemon balm, but buyer beware, this stuff will give you way more than you bargained for. Lemon balm is in the same plant family as mint, and it does grow somewhat like mint. You will get more lemon balm than you know what to do with, but there are so many things you can do with lemon balm. I love making lemon balm tea. You can make all kinds of lemon balm drinks. And then I even like putting lemon balm in salad dressings and even eating lemon balm as a salad green. This stuff is so fragrant, and it has literally a citrusy smell to it. I even use these leaves to make bug spray for my garden, just like a natural bug deterrent. Lemon balm should not be planted in a raised bed. You notice I have this in my native plant garden around my kitchen garden. And this winter, I'm even going to cut it back and try to control it a little bit because it started to take over places that I have other natives and flowers growing. But lemon balm is such an easy plant to grow. I started all of this with just one little 4-inch plant. So this is what's happened over the last 3 years. And a lot of this has already been cut back several times this year. Lemon balm has a great citrusy smell and it is used as a mosquito repellent. So I find that I hardly have any mosquitoes ever in my garden. And I think a lot of it is attributed to this perennial that's all around the border. So add some lemon balm, but be careful. Don't let it take over your space. If you look at my garden on a day like today, you'll see that a lot of it looks the same as it did 5, 6, 7, 8 months ago. That's because my vegetable garden is packed with perennials. All along the edges and the corners of all my vegetable garden beds are perennial plants that I can count on to come back year after year. If you add these 5 perennials to your vegetable garden, you're gonna find that so much of the work is done for you before you even head to start planting for the next season. If you want to learn how to plant your garden like this so that you can have it set up and just work in it about 5 minutes a day, then you've got to check out my new book, The 5-Minute Gardener. The whole concept of my new book, 5-Minute Gardener, is all about doing tasks in the garden that just take a few minutes whenever you have it. And adding things like perennial plants to your garden are absolutely part of the system. You can find out how to order my new book, 5-Minute Gardener, right below this video. And don't go anywhere before you hit that subscribe button. I absolutely appreciate you being here, but when you subscribe, that means you're gonna find out every single time we post a new video. And it also tells all the big guys at YouTube to share this gardening channel with more people. Feel free to like and share and tell me in the comments what you want me to cover about planting in the garden next. Thanks for being here. I wouldn't be here without you, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.